आइए दोस्तों, आज मैं आप सबके साथ शेयर करने वाला हूँ कॉन्टेक्चुअल डायमेंशन ऑफ डेमोक्रेटिक डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन पार्ट 2 सोशल इकोनॉमिक एंड जियोग्राफिकल प्रोसेस। तो इस चैप्टर में आज हम डिस्कस करने वाला है लर्निंग आउटकम, इंट्रोडक्शन, सोशल डायमेंशन ऑफ डेमोक्रेटिक डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन, जियोग्राफिकल context of democratic decentralization and economic context, democratic decentralization meanings for good governance, conclusion etc. तो सबसे पहले शुरू करते हैं लर्निंग आउटकम। इस यूनिट को पढ़ने के बाद हमने क्या क्या आउटकम किया। तो इस यूनिट को पढ़ने के बाद हमने क्या क्या आउटकम किया है। तो पहला है, आफ्टर स्टडिंग दिस यूनिट यू शुड बी एबल टू, पहला पॉइंट है, understand the concept of decentralization administration throw light on the constitutional context and decentralization। तो तीसरा पॉइंट है, highlight the contextual dimension of decentralization from point of social economic and geographical। तो आइए शुरू करते हैं इंट्रोडक्शन पार्ट। तो पहला पॉइंट है इंट्रोडक्शन। The concept of democratic decentralization has become fashionable in modern economic and political theories for political restructuring and for fashioning new strategies for economic development. The term is, however, is not of recent origin. It has been much discussed and debated by writers, social reformers, political philosophers, modern pluralists, and liberal socialists. Democratic decentralization has been described by various names in India, such as functional democracy, grassroots democracy, building from below, Panchayati Raj, etc. Malik 2004, grassroots democracy, building from below, Panchayat Raj. Strictly speaking, the term of decentralization does not necessarily contain democratic connotation. Hence, the adjective democratic is used to impart a special meaning to the term. It is democratic in the sense that the source from which power is decentralized has its democratic base, and the body to which the power follows is also democratically organized. The meaning of democracy is that people may determine the whole process of rural development, right from the formulation of policies to implementation of evolution. However, much more importance has been assigned to democratic elements in all of them than to its development aspect. The concept of democratic decentralization in India context has mostly been associated with the Gandhian philosophy of non-violent social order consisting of self-sufficient and village republics. Centralizations, according to Mahatma Gandhi, as a system inconsistent with the non-violent structure of society. Horizon 18 January 1942. Since centralization cannot be sustained, defended without the adequate forces, he suggested that in India were to evolve along non-violent lines, it would have decentralized. Mahatma Gandhi regarded it as essential restoring order in the contemporary period of change and conflict, political instability, and inefficiency in administration. It would be apart to say that absence of a viable economic policy, the alternative is to examine critically and dispassionately the Gandhian economic and political ideas. This provides to great extent a rational approach to our problems and national reconstruction and regeneration. In this unit, we will discuss the contextual dimension of the democratic decentralization partly and social, economic and geographical। तो अभी दूसरा पॉइंट है सोशल कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ डेमोक्रेटिक डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन। तो सोशल कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ डेमोक्रेटिक डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन का पहला भाग आज हम चर्चा करेंगे और दूसरा भाग हम कल चर्चा करेंगे। तो आइए शुरू करते हैं सोशल कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ डेमोक्रेटिक डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन। देयर इज़ एन इम्पॉर्टेंट एट concretization through the institutionalization of grassroots democracy. The theoretical ideology is institutionalization or social construction through agent-structure interaction. The premise is that human behavior is not an independent variable in the social scheme of things, but is rather conditioned by the environment. Environment is a generic term which includes broadly the social, political, legal, administrative, and economic environment that generally condition the way we think and perceive, broadly implying culture. If human behavior were indeed dependent variable professed and the institutionalized sociologist introducing the right structure in the social domain would impact on the pattern of socialization and consequent internalization of values, thus modifying behavior desirably over time. Structure agency viewpoint is primarily aggregated into eminent sociologists like Talcott Person, George Simmel, and Robert Elias, though there has been much development accredited to modern sociologists such as George Ritzer and Nikos Mouzils et al. In the Parsonian scheme of things, institutionalization is described both as process and structure. The process is described as per following steps or development in social behavior. Number 1. Actors with the different orientations find themselves in situations where they must interact. Number 2. Their orientation stems from their need, structure, and how the same condition and influence determined by the cooperation of culture values on their part from their social environment. Number 3. Through specific interaction process, norms emerge which guide subsequent behavior while actors adjust their orientation to each other. Number 4. Such norms emerge as a way of adjusting the different orientation of actors to each other and find common ground for mutuality and the constrained by the general cultural environment. Number 5. In turn, however, these norms set, establish, and regulate subsequent interaction, giving behavior stability, thus bringing about the desired change, though the extent of degree of such change could not be permitted and anticipated. Roy 2004. This theory belonged to the generic field of social ontology. Social ontologists attempt to inquire into cause-effect phenomenon, then order social relations accordingly. In time, it is believed that local self-government institutions in the village promising equal opportunity in matter of membership to the socially and educationally backward and powerless segments in the social matrix, the traditional oligarchic and feudal social order would in time give way to more an equalitarian and डेमोक्रेटिक सोशल ऑर्डर। तो ये रहा पहला पार्ट सोशल कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ डेमोक्रेटिक डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन का। तो दूसरा भाग हम कल चर्चा करेंगे। तो आपको ये वीडियो कैसा लगा? अगर अच्छा लगा है तो इसे शेयर करें, लाइक करें, और दूसरा भाग हम कल चर्चा करेंगे। थैंक यू, धन्यवाद।